nam kwa dan nyam be sim jin dam jan nam jan nan nam me ba yang ta ba zo be san je je kong ba rum bo chen an go bar cha de che do talam tam be chu samon che ba la chu nim be kun no da kun chu number ta be sen sar te la kan sem bar se wi chu ne. Today I am requested to talk on few subjects of sacred Dharma. Before starting, I wanted to express my greetings and also I'm honored to share the precious Dharma with you, which I received from my precious gurus, and now I'm sharing this with you. I hope and believe it will fulfill some of your inspirations to learn the teaching of Buddha. The first subject is Buddha nature. Buddha nature, to understand, you have to know what is Buddha. So, Buddha is a Sanskrit word, and it is not a name of a person, but it is a description of the attainment of Prince Siddhartha and all the past Buddhas, and also all the future Buddhas. I believe each one of you are one of the future Buddha. Now, Buddha means one who is fully awakened and fully mature. So what is there to be awakened? And what is there to be matured? Each and every one of us, all sentient beings, have primordial, limitless potential. Primordial wisdom, potential. This potential, when it is fully awakened and when it is fully developed, then the person is Buddha. Until that, the person is not Buddha, but person is with the Buddha nature or Buddha potential. Now, how do we know every sentient being have Buddha nature and Buddha potential? That is quite simple. If you ask somebody, do you like to be happy? They will say yes. Do you like to suffer? They will say no. So in this whole universe, you cannot find one person or one being who don't like to be happy and who don't like to overcome the suffering. Then you ask second question. What is happiness? What do you want? What will make you happy? What is suffering? What you don't like and what you like to overcome. So when you ask these two questions, then it becomes quite individualistic. Some person will say something about the happiness and describe the happiness in one way. Another person will describe it slightly differently. And even the same person, if you ask the person today, the same question you ask tomorrow, the answer will be slightly different. If you ask the question to the same person, the same question 1 year from now, will be quite different. Therefore, definition of enlightenment, awakening, and developing or maturing comes relevant. It becomes relevant. Although our basic wish for happiness and basic wish to be free from suffering is same, but what makes us happy and what makes us suffer is different. Those who like to meditate and do retreat, they like to be alone. They like to do nothing but meditate. That makes them very happy. Although that is not ultimate purpose of the meditation, but temporary, immediate purpose is to be in peace, at peace, and happy. So people become very happy when they are alone and when they don't have any worldly things to do, when they don't have all the worldly entertainments and all these things not around them. They are very happy. Contrary to that, if you ask somebody just from the ordinary life, let's say, just go to the street and ask somebody to come up and then just sit there for 5 hours, don't do anything. The person will be bored. They don't like it. If you deprive somebody watching TV for 1 week, they will be not happy. They will be deprived. And if you feed the same food for 1 month, same breakfast, same lunch, same dinner for 1 month, the person will complain very seriously because it will be so boring. So, what makes you happy and what makes you content is quite different between these two examples of people. Now this is not only two. If you really look into it, then almost everyone is slightly different. Obviously, if you go into your city, then you know very clearly there's so many shops selling all kind of clothes. They're different in color, they're different in design, and some person like these and other person like other ones. And so many restaurants, some foods are very heavy, some foods are very light, some foods are very spicy, some foods are very plain, and some like these, others like that. So this way, individual definition of happiness and suffering, the liking and disliking is quite unique. So now this gives us a very clear indication that each one of us have very unique cause and condition that makes us what we are. So in Buddhism, we call that karma. So long as we have the karma, then we have all kind of changes, all kind of situations, whether we like it or not, we have to encounter. Good karma, wonderful things will happen. Bad karma, terrible things will happen. The neutral karma, boring things will happen. And so the person who overcome all the karma, and not only overcome the karma, but fully realize, and not only realize intellectually, but mature and become the primordial wisdom potential, primordial freedom potential, primordial wisdom and freedom with no limitation potential. When this is fully matured, then person is free. And person is in absolute harmony. And that person we call Buddha. So the potential of that is there in each one of us. So that is we call Buddha nature or Buddha potential. And anybody who like to be happy, anybody who don't like to suffer, it is the proof or the outcome of that potential. And this way, we can have basic understanding of Buddha nature. If we don't have the basic understanding of Buddha nature, or whatever other name you might call it, doesn't have to call it Buddha nature, potential for limitless freedom, or potential for primordial wisdom. You can call many things, because in the Dharma there are so many different titles, different names, terminologies that describes this. So when you don't have this understanding, then there is some confusion and some difficulties in day-to-day life. Because we somehow forget or somehow don't feel or become insensitive to the equal interest of ourselves and others. Or instead of equal, you might even use the word common interest. So I don't like to suffer, so I also should remember others also don't like to suffer. I like to be happy, therefore I also should remember others like to be happy too. So that way, understanding of Buddha nature will help us to have this kind of common interest and understanding. When we don't have the understanding of the common interest and commonality between us and everyone, then we might become quite selfish, quite ignorant. We might even do things which will cause enormous suffering for others, just to get a little bit of happiness for ourselves. That is not right, isn't it? And also sometimes we might become very neurotic, and we become jealous. When others are happy and doing well, then you will say, why not me? You might not, but the person might say, why not me? And become jealous and resentful. But if you know the Buddha nature, then you are grateful, you are happy that somebody is happy at least. You didn't manage to be happy as you like to, but somebody is happy, so you are happy for it, instead of you are resentful to it. And at the same time, when you see somebody is suffering, then you will have compassion. You will feel for the other person, because you know how does it feel to be in suffering. When you're suffering, how you feel. You don't like it. This is painful. So when somebody else is suffering, then you can also understand the other person, other being is in pain. So you have sympathy, and you can do something for that person or sentient being. You will be happy to do it for them. And that moment, you will not think so much about yourself. And if you are very advanced, then we call that selfless service to others. But even we might not have that much maturity right now, but when we are really seeing somebody suffer and do something to help the person, then we somehow not think about ourselves at that moment. And that is a very precious moment. So all of these things will happen very clearly, not confused, clear, when you have the clear understanding of Buddha nature. And at the same time, then we also know that each one of us and everybody is ultimately, naturally good. When you see somebody doing something wrong, you don't feel very negative about the person to the ultimate. No. You don't like it, of course. And you try to stop person from doing something, that terrible thing. Or even you might pray that the person will stop doing those terrible things. But you will not hate that person because you know that person is ignorant and he or she does not know the Buddha nature. So therefore, you have sympathy to the person rather than you are angry with the person. And there's so much benefit for knowing and also so much shortcoming for not knowing. This is about the Buddha nature. Now, last thing, whether we know it or not, we are the future Buddha. You are future Buddha. I am future Buddha. Everybody is future Buddha. Okay? That is about the Buddha nature. The next, I was requested to talk on the importance of being a good person and having a good heart. Well, if you are a good person, you are a happy person. If you have a good heart, you are a healthy person. Okay? But I know when you say heart, you're not talking about the heart here. So you're talking about, kindness and so that kind of, that aspect of heart. So that is even deeper than the having a good heart, which is a very important part of good health. But if you are a kind person, then everything becomes much easier for you, and everything becomes much positive for you. Easier in a sense, positive. Not lazy kind of easy, but positive easy. And also everything becomes more positive to others. What is the definition of good heart? And what is the definition of a good person? The good and bad, we have to define there what is good, what is bad. Good person means, first we know, I like to be happy. I don't want trouble. Then you also should know same thing about everybody else. Everybody like to be happy. Nobody like trouble. So good person does not create trouble for others. And good person try to make others' life better. That is good person. And that naturally make that person not to create problem for himself or herself, and also not to get into unnecessary troubles himself or herself. That is good person. If you are in harmony, then you can share this with others. If you are miserable, if you feel miserable, you are not miserable ultimately, but many people feel miserable, think miserable. So if the person think and feel that way, then cannot share anything else with others but the misery. So that way, a good person by definition is person who have perspective, who have understanding, who have compassion, who is kind to himself and herself as well as others. That is good person. I give you one example. How it is possible? How is it possible that you are not kind to yourself? It sounds impossible thing, but it happens so many times. Not all the time, but so many times. Person to avoid small problems such as little bit getting bored, then take drugs. And as a result of that, then you become drug addict. And if you become drug addict, then you are in very big trouble. Your life is ruined. Avoid a small problem. You created a very big problem for yourself. Same thing. You are uncomfortable with somebody. Just a small discomfort. Then you say bad things, you go after the person, bother the person, saying bad things, negative things, doing bad things, negative things, then it becomes worse and worse. Small problem become big problem. So person who make small problem into big problem for themselves and for others, person who is irresponsible, person who have no kindness to themselves and to others, that is the definition of not being very good person. But you can always change. There's nothing which is permanent. You cannot find anything in samsara, anything in the world that is permanent. You look into the sky, there is the sun at the daytime and moon at the night time. They are also impermanent. The sun and moon were not there forever in the past. It is formed several billion centuries back. Before that, there wasn't this sun and moon. And it will be gone several billion centuries from now. They will be gone. So, everything is impermanent. Everything. And knowing everything is impermanent, then your attitude about other people's problem, your attitude towards yourself and to others, everything become transformed. If you have a problem, if you give enough time, your problem will disappear. Or your problem will become manageable. But if you are impatient and try to manage your problem when it is just starting, then instead of solving the problem, it becomes 2 problems, 3 problems, 4 problems. It will multiply. And if you are wise, you can transform your problem into something good, something wonderful. So, let me give you a little strange example. You find out that you have diabetes, which is quite serious disease, but not life-threatening right away. So if you take it negatively, then it's very bad. You are diabetic. You cannot eat so many things, chocolates, all kind of tasty things. You cannot enjoy them. You have to do exercise, difficult things you have to do. So you become quite depressed by discovery of you are having diabetes. But if you already have diabetes, being negative about it does not help. So take it positively. Okay, my diabetes is my guru. So that I know what I should eat and what I shouldn't eat. I know I have to do regular exercise. Then you take very good care of your food intake, and you take very good care of your physical condition, so that you become healthier, you have better health than all the other people around you who don't have diabetes. Because, when we don't have such thing, then we eat anything and we don't do exercise, then we become quite lazy. But by knowing that I have diabetes, I don't have, but if I have, then I will be doing lots of exercise, I will be very careful about what I eat, I will be very healthy. This is a little strange example, but I think you understand what I mean. So this way, a good person should have perspective which is quite far-reaching perspective, and wisdom to understand things not only one way, but in many ways. There is good side and bad side for everything. So able to see all of this and decide to take it positively. And another thing about the same subject is good heart. Well, good heart have many levels. You can be superficially good heart, or you are mature good heart. Immature, superficial good heart is not bad. It is okay. But you should become mature, good-hearted person. For example, if you are superficially good-hearted, which is good, not bad, and not mature good-hearted, which is good, not bad, but the consequences of your action with immature and emotional good heart can cause perhaps more problem to the other person who you try to be helpful. It might cause more problem than just leave it for the time being. Don't give up from your heart, but just watch and wait. Because there will be a right moment when you can intervene and help the person. Then your assistance becomes more effective and more direct. Direct in a sense, it will not have some kind of opposite effect. You want to help the person, but you do things out of emotion and impatient and don't see things clearly, then you find that what you have done to the person, actually, instead of helping, you made the situation worse. So, good heart have many levels. I don't think we should wait until we have the mature good heart. But when we have good heart, kind heart, even we are not so mature, we should exercise this by assisting others. Exercise in a way we should use this to help others, but we should know we are not mature. Therefore, we will be very careful. We will be very responsible. Then as a result of this, slowly we become mature. When more you become mature, then more assured that your actions will benefit the subject, the other person. So, good heart should be very precious thing, but it is more precious if that good heart is mature good heart. Okay. So this is about the good heart. And good heart relative, good heart ultimate. So ultimate good heart will be with no effort, just like Buddha, non-dualistic. But before that, the relative good heart, but mature good heart, will be like a mature father, mature mother, mature teacher, helping the student or children sincerely. And then immature good heart might be like a person who is very, very kind, but impatient and desperately trying to do something for others. Desperately. So these things we should not be, let's say, ignoring, like a immature, emotional good heart. We should not discourage, we should not ignore, but we have to know we are in that stage. If we are in that stage, then we should know that we have to be careful and responsible, even when we are doing something with good heart, to the welfare of others. Very important to have foresight and be mature and responsible. That is about good heart and being good person. I'm responding to the request to explain the importance of daily practice, everyday practice. Everyday practice, daily practice is extremely important. I give you very ordinary example. You have to have every morning breakfast, day after day. Every midday you have to have lunch, day after day. Every evening you have to have dinner, day after day. Every night you have to go to sleep, every day after day. And every morning after you get up, you have to take shower and clean yourself every day. Isn't it? You just eat one lunch for whole life, one dinner for whole life, one breakfast for whole life, one shower for whole life, one sleep for whole life. Nobody can do that, They have to do it every day, repeat again and again and again. Same thing with the meditation, same thing with the recitation, if you are a Dharma practitioner, because then every day your practice becomes deeper and deeper. Your practice will mature. For example, with ordinary education, you go to school, you have to continue day after day. If you break in between the semester by 1 month, you are absent for the class for 1 month, almost guaranteed that you will fail the exam at the end of the year. If you fail class 1 exam, then your class 2 will be 1 year delayed. So you will have to spend 2 years instead of 1 year to get from 1 to 2. So this same way, when we meditate and practice and chant and recite and all of that, so if we do it wholeheartedly every day, then every day it becomes deeper. Like Om Mani Padme Hum, very simple thing. Compassion, bodhicitta for all sentient beings. To be free from suffering. But if we say it again and again from our heart, verbally, and from our heart, the meaning of what we say, if we repeat it, then it goes deeper and deeper. Its meaning becomes deeper and deeper. And then the gap between you, who wish all sentient beings to be free from suffering, and the all sentient beings who are suffering, the gap between you two become less and less. So the equanimity, the non-duality, the harmony manifest more clear and more profound. If you are a student studying a very important subject, then you have to continue your study and training. If you stop for some time, when you start again, you are no good. You have to spend many hours and many days. I give you example. If you are a musician, any kind of good musician, you have to learn first the basics, then you have to exercise, and you have to play it every day. By doing so, then you and music have less distance. So you are able to manifest music naturally. Otherwise, you have to remember you have these fingers, you have to remember you have these fingers, you have to remember your instruments, you have to look at all the music texts and so many things, and it is very confusing. You will stir up the entire orchestra. You will ruin the entire music orchestra because you did not practice every day. Those who are practicing every day, everything is very smooth and natural, and you did not exercise every day, so that you have to look at the note, change the pages, and think about this finger, think about that finger, and all of this, then you spoil everything. So the same thing. So everyday practice is very, very important. Until we reach very profound, deep, spontaneous level of realization. Then you are the practice. Therefore, you don't have to practice like you used to do. You still have to practice, but in a natural manner. Not like before, when you are beginning. We are meditating, but we are not meditating to become a meditation expert. But we are meditating so that one day we don't have to meditate. Every moment become meditation. So, therefore, repeating prayers, doing practice every day, this is extremely important. Okay. The Sanskrit word shamatha, Tibetan word shine, and I think in English it will mean remain in peace. Peace and harmony, maybe. Better word. So this subject, I will say a few words as response to the request. In order to do anything in life, you have to be calm. You have to be in peace. You have to be in harmony. If you don't have that, then you will be doing everything in confusion and haste. You will not get anything correctly and efficiently. It is not only Buddhist meditation of shamatha. you look at mature people in the world, their motivation might not be Buddhahood, but their motivation is to do well in certain things. I give you a very ordinary example. If you are a good cook, you have many ingredients and you have many tools, and then you have to cook whatever you're going to cook in right order. The temperature of the tools that you're cooking with, stove or oven or whatever, an amount of different spices that you put, and the period, how long you cook certain things, on what temperature. So all of that makes your dish what it's supposed to be. If your mind is not calm, if your mind is not in harmony, you're supposed to cook something, but you end up with something else. It will not be what you're supposed to be cooking. So if you are the chef in a restaurant and the person orders a certain dish, the person is waiting for that dish, and when the dish comes to the table, it will be something else. So the person will cancel the dish because it is not what you have ordered. The taste is different, the color is different, smell is different, everything is different. And therefore, even for a good cooking, you need a calm mind, clear mind, a mind in harmony, isn't it? So this way, for attaining Buddhahood, attaining realization of the primordial wisdom, which might take a very long time, but it has to be based on calm, abiding, harmonious state of mind, shine. And your efficiency and your ability will be doubled and tripled when your mind is calm. Because you are only saying certain things only once or twice, and you deliberate the message. Without clear mind, you might be talking for hours and hours and hours, and you don't get the subject right, and the other person who are listening to you have a total misunderstanding of what you're supposed to say, because your mind is not calm, your mind is not clear. The same thing with all the activities. You might do certain things in day-to-day life, spending only 15 minutes with clear mind. But if you don't have a clear mind, and if you are not calm, you might be spending 3 hours to do the things that you could do in 15 minutes. So this way, calm, abiding state of mind is extremely important. Not only that, if you are a person in the family who have good, mature, calm, abiding state of mind, then everybody around you will be affected by this. So your family will be happier family. Everybody is become much more calm. Everybody become much more in harmony. Otherwise, everybody might be quite okay, but because you are not calm and you are confused, you are not in harmony, you're in conflict within, so this will create disharmony and you stir up the whole family. And you might become the problem in the family. I don't want to be the problem in my family. So everyone should have calm, abiding state of mind and maturity, and should have mental and emotional harmony, so that you become someone who makes your family much better, much happier. And then that makes your family become one family which makes all the neighborhood much more in harmony and happier. And this can go on and on and on. So this way, shine or shamatha, or it be in peace or in harmony, to have a calm, abiding state of mind is extremely important. Having said that, now as a Buddhist, we have a meditation for this. We have so many meditations: walking meditation, sitting meditation, breathing meditation, visualizing meditation, etc., to develop the calm, abiding state of mind. So you should learn them from your local Dharma centers if you are Buddhist, or actually just to learn calm, abiding state of mind. If you don't consider yourself a Buddhist, you can learn shine, like breathing shine. We all breathe, right? But you don't have to be a Buddhist to breathe. And walking shine, you don't have to be a Buddhist to walk. Everybody is walking. So we can practice all of these. But at the same time, as a Buddhist, I consider every sentient being is Buddha. Everyone is more than a Buddhist. They are Buddha. Not yet enlightened, but Buddha in potential. So the shine is very important. To have harmonious mind and harmonious state of emotion, consciousness is extremely important. Now, I am responding to the request, taking problem and difficulty as a practice. Well, if we have a problem, if we have a difficulty, we already have them, then we better make the most positive use of that problem, rather than make it more and more negative. Isn't it? It is like this. If you have a land on which a big spring just breaks out, so many water comes out, it's a big problem. You know, my land, my small property, now there is a big water coming out, big flood, big problem. Well, I'm not sure, because water is very precious. And from your land, lots of water comes out. So you can use it for your home. You can also donate some of it to your village. And you can also channel this into the reservoir of the entire township. So this way, it doesn't have to be a problem. It can be a blessing. So it is where you think. Certain problems are more difficult to transform like that, but most of the problems we can transform. I give you another example. Your family, you are a lay person and you have a family, and your son and daughter are teenagers, and they have lots of energy, so they wanted to run here, run there, and get into fight, and so many problems. Well, one way to solve that problem is, one of your child like to get into fight all the time, then let your child join the national sports academy, where they teach how to do the boxing. Then your son have to fight every day. Your son have to fight every day, and can't be angry every day. And also there is a referee, there is a rule. So the energy of that teenager's energy is used positively. So your son might bring gold medals for your country, Olympic gold medals to your country. Possible. I'm talking in a worldly sense. And spiritually, of course, according to each individual's so-called problems, we should practice to transform them. Now let's say your other child, your daughter, like to go for a long walk, disappear for many days, and you as a parent worry so much. Well, if that is the case, then make your daughter join the National Cross-Country Ski Championship. So she have to put on the ski gear and have to walk day after day across the country, climb the hills, skate the slopes, and so that way she will spend all of her energy in a positive way, and she might become a national treasure for your country, to bring many gold medals, for Olympic gold medals for your country. I'm talking this again in a worldly sense, but turning the energy which can become destructive into constructive, positive, and she will be a happy person, because after some time she will learn to like it. She will enjoy tens of thousands of people cheering for her, and she will be considered hero for the country. She have meaning for the life in a worldly sense. And spiritually, of course, slightly different. So I think after your son become the boxing champion, and your daughter become the ski champion, cross-country ski, not the other ski. Cross-country is very difficult. And long time, not short time. Then you can teach them not to be very proud, not to be proud. And then engage in socially beneficial activities, because everybody know their face, everybody know their name. So if they do something for the society, they can do much more effectively than you as a parent who does not have those gold medals, So they can do much more. You can direct them, you can help them. So you can make a future for them which will make a big difference for the life of so many thousands of disadvantaged people, underprivileged people, and physically challenged, mentally challenged people, so many things in a worldly level. Then if they learn Dharma, then they have, of course, something to overcome. That is because they are so upheld, so highly upheld by the society, there is a chance to become very proud. So they can work with that as exactly the same thing, transforming the problem as a practice, so that ego become a source of inspiration and compassion for others. Because when you know you are so privileged, you can see how those who are underprivileged are suffering. So that way, your ego can transform into concern for other. And you will be so happy that you can be useful for other. You can do lots of things for the others. So this way, both in a meditation kind of manner, as well as in a worldly manner, problems and obstacles are always something that you can transform into positive. Then they are no more obstacle. They are practice. Okay. So I am very happy to share the precious Dharma with you in these few points. In this order I was requested, so I am responding to it according to the Dharma. And of course, you have limited time. Therefore, I don't want you to go into many levels of detail, because if you go into the sacred Dharma, then there's so much depth in it, so many levels in it. So at the moment, since this is first such a request came from your country and your center to me, so I am responding this time with that much. And I wish you all my best, and I sincerely hope that you will learn something meaningful from this response. All the best. So let us dedicate the merit of this teaching for the benefit of all sentient beings to reach the Buddhahood. Sunam diye tamje zikpani tomne nyebe danam pamjen jegananje balap chupaye sibian sole rowa dogore shon jambala pawe chitar chambadang kundu zambo teyang tejinte Deda kunje jeso dalabjin gewan deda tamje rabdu ngo sanje kusun ibe chinlabdang chuni minjur dembe chinlabdang gendunu mi chen dembe chinlabji Chitab Huwa Malam Drubar Shu